cold morning on Lake Fork. We're about to roll. Let's go see if we can make it happen. Let's make some more miracle magic happen. 14-pounder today. Let's go. Coming to Lake Fork, I only fished this place a couple times, and the last time they were spawning here. This time I did a lot of research online, and I knew we were going to deal with the upper 40s and low 50 water temperature. And usually a jerk bait, you know, that's this Livingston 121 jerk bait, talked about it a lot. Same bait I caught all my fish at Darbone on it the first 2 days, and then I caught all the fish here this week on it. I caught just a couple on the Ned rig with a 3-inch Senko here. But the jerk bait was a big fish pattern, and I knew the big fish pattern, to do well in this tournament, I was going to need those bigger size fish.
Jerk bait, baby. £4, 15, baby, 15.
So my pattern was really 8 foot deep to 12 foot deep trees that were on the flat sides of points, and more isolated trees were better. If you have forward facing sonar, the Lowrance Active Target is what, without a doubt, is what helped me find and catch them on this pattern. You see fish on those trees everywhere on the Active Target, and they're usually suspended in about 6 to 8 feet of water. So if you come to Lake Fork though, and it's pre-spawn waters in the low 50s at best, I think the jerkbait pattern is a really good way to find and catch some really big fish. As it warms up, the lipless bait and the spinner bait, chatterbait, that kind of deal will start getting better. But the areas I was fishing in, that shallow bait pattern just wasn't working. I was mostly in one big creek arm area. I heard a lot of talk about it, and that's why I spent a lot of time in there, because I knew it was generally a place that had a lot of fish. If you come to Lake Fork, just get on that Active Target, get out there around the big trees on them flat points in the mouths of the pockets and creeks, especially the trees that are forked, that have 2 trees close together, split together, or 3 or 4, anywhere you got a cluster. And every one of those cluster trees would have 1 or 2 fish sitting there, and it's pretty cool to watch them bite it on that Active Target. And unfortunately the wind got so bad, it just had that whole area blown out and dirty.
Yeah! Yeah! Thank you, Lord. Livingston jerkbait in the head, boy. Yeah! 6'11", baby. Thank you, Lord. Right there, baby.
And then I caught the 6-pounder, 6'11" that day, out in a 18-foot deep tree.
That's what it's all about right there, y'all.
6'11" right there at the end of the day. 30 minutes to go to get me in the cut, so we're going to the knockout round. Praise the Lord, all on the Livingston jerkbait. You saw it right here, baby. It's a cold morning here in East Texas at Lake Fork, and we're about to get ready to head out for the knockout round today. I am very excited to be in it, although today is going to probably be the worst weather conditions we've ever fished in Major League Fishing history. It's the winter weather advisory. It's freezing rain coming in this morning. It's like 30, it's gonna be like 32, 34 with a 20-mile-an-hour north wind all day. I got the 200-mile-an-hour pants out for today because it's one of them days. So Fish Monkey gloves, hand warmers, we got everything we need. So we're gonna be ready to fight the conditions and throw that Livingston jerkbait around them deep trees today. And hopefully this cold front is gonna make them big ones bite for me, and I can make it into that final for tomorrow. We fished in the ice and the freezing rain all morning, and it was just pretty nasty. This was probably the most miserable day I've spent on the water in my 30 years of competitive bass fishing today. Everything, my whole Triton, my Lowrances, everything on here were glazed over with about 1/8 of an inch of ice. So all my rod and reels were solid. But we had to go out, you know, it was a knockout round, had to get your final 10 guys for the final day. But unfortunately, the fishing didn't work good for me today, the final day in this weather. North wind for the last 2 days had muddied up the area pretty bad where I was catching them on jerkbait, and it just kind of messed that area up. I changed up a little bit in the first period and threw a Pro Ripper lipless bait a little bit, and I caught 2 keepers to a 4-pounder and a 211, and I thought I was getting onto something, and then I tried that a little more in that area. It just didn't have any more of the right shoreline, the right flat points that didn't have timber on them to do that pattern at. Caught 2, finished 30th, I think. Worst day I've been on the water in a long time. Sleet, rain, everything's solid frozen. It's short in the day. Just 2 periods instead of 3. So let's get out of here. Let's go back to Alabama. So hopefully we get to come back here. This is a great lake. There was, what, 4 or 5 bass over 10 pounds caught here this past week. Thankfully my 12-14 record is still holding. Thanks for following us again. Come to Lake Fork, have fun. Hope you catch a 10-pounder. They're in here everywhere, and we'll see you guys on the water next week. God bless.